Hey everybody, what's going on? Alan here. Welcome to the Gibson Garage Speed Shop. Today we're working on the 05 Mercury Sable. It's a 3.0 V6 with the overhead valve engine, not the dual overhead cam. We got a code saying his bank 1 catalytic converter was bad. All we can assume is that means the first cat on the bank 1. There is also a cat on bank 2 right after the manifold, right? You can see him here. We believe that's bank 1 and that's bank 2, and then there's a third cat right after this. There's a flex pipe and a third cat. Hopefully this is the one we need to change, and typically I would imagine that it's going to be the first cat that goes bad before the second cat. There's also an issue with that flex pipe right after the joint going bad, which can cause bad catalytic converter readings too. So we'll take a look at that when we get down there as well. We are getting kind of a late start. Unfortunately, the sun's going down, so it's gonna get kind of hard to film here real soon. So I don't know how far I'll get, but I think at least we can get it up in the air and make a game plan for what needs to be done to get it out. All right, so I'm a little afraid to say it, but this could be easy. I'm not 100% sure. The only real problem I see is getting the flange bolts for the other side, for the back cat up top there. Might be a little bit difficult getting to those two bolts on the other cat, but these two I can get to really easy from up top. Disconnect the oxygen sensor, which one connector seems to be about right here, and the other connector is right up along the ridge of this oil pan right here. And then these two flange bolts here, and this is that flex pipe I was talking about, which it has a stain, so I'm not sure if that's just from this oil leaking on it and dripping down, or if that's like sign of an exhaust leak. But it actually looks to be intact all the way around. You can see the little ribs, the flex pipe ribs inside there, and nothing looks broken through the mesh. And then I might have to remove the axle just to let that catalytic converter drop down with the rest of this. If I undo these flange bolts, this might swing over enough, but I think that axle's got to come out. And as you can see, it's already pretty dark under there, so I might have to bust out the light for you guys. All right, let's do the easy first. Okay, now the other one. Okay, so far relatively easy. Got the two O2 sensors disconnected. Next thing I really want to find out is if this Y pipe or this rear flex piece is going to move out of the way. So we'll disconnect this. That is going to move out of the way just fine. Now I've got to support it. I was actually lucky enough to have the jack stand handle hold it off to this side, right underneath the frame, which will work just as good as going that direction. Now coming in from the top, these two bolts are really easy to get to. Well, hopefully they bust apart just as easy as the bottom ones did. Okay, uno. That one didn't have to snap loose. Oh, that's... Ow. Okay, so I can't actually see the bolt, but if we crawl back here, I'm sure I can get you guys in there. It's right over this rear motor mount. Okay, so while everything else has been a 15 so far, they made this one a 13. Think I got it? Well, I called it for the night, and it got dark and realized those bolts needed soaking with some penetrating oil, and also realized this heat shield is bolted on separately, and there's at least 3 bolts that I can tell holding it on. There's one right down there that's holding on to the ground wire also. There's one right down there below the motor mount, and there's also one here on this motor mount. So hopefully it's just those 3 bolts, and then the heat shield can come off. Then we'll go back to that stubborn bolt I was working on. Now, first I want to get this axle out of the way, which means moving the nut, the tie rod bolt here, and this pinch bolt, and this lower ball joint, and then pulling all of this out of the way. Okay, I guess it wasn't recording. The axle nut was a 30, this is an 18. Well, that was easy. This pinch bolt's a 21. Just the other end just slides out. And then you got the sway bar link up here, which is also an 18. I don't know if I'm gonna have to remove every single thing, but it's kind of looking like it. 10 mil on the back side here to hold this bracket on. Now this brake caliper can come off. Those are 12s. To pull the axle out, which means remove all of this stuff to get to it. Unfortunate. Yeah. Makes it a little less heavy. Now this bottom ball joint. Did that come up? Wonder if I'm pulling this ball joint out of its socket. Kinda feels like that's what I did. Alright, I got the ball joint popped out with this tool here. Worked a treat, but it's still gonna have to be replaced. I gotta try to figure out how to, let's see if this axle pop out. I think I might need a longer pry bar. Oh, there we go. And no leakage. Nice. Okay, so I gotta replace the ball joint, so it's a good thing I did all this anyway. But you probably, if you can get the ball joint out without destroying it, you probably can get away with just removing the nut, prying it up out of the arm. And these aren't very tight, so that's good. Okay, uno. Bolt dose is this same one that this ground wire is attached to that you can't see. Let's see. So it's right here. I'm going upside down. I'll show you guys. Is that better? And that was actually a bolt, not a nut. Take the ground wire off of it. And then the other bolt nut is right there. Took that off, so let's see if this comes out. Yeah, I remember being under here about the same time last night. The shield is loose, but it's not coming out unless it's with the cat. So here we are again, playing this game, and hopefully that penetrating oil will allow this to come out. I didn't have very far to go. This thing, I used an impact because I got tired of doing it by hand, and it came right out, but man, this thing's smoking hot. So yeah, you can see daylight up in there. I got just enough room to sneak the impact up in here and get that one out. Now it's just one bolt left, and this top bolt you can get from right here. You can just barely see it right there. There's a shiny little socket. Now, because this actually has a slot in the manifold, you shouldn't need to take this bolt all the way out. Just enough to break it loose. And then it's designed that way so like when it went together, you could hang it on that bolt, the Y pipe on that bolt, and then go do the rest. Oh, I just heard the exhaust slip loose. And I'm gonna take it all the way out, just so I don't have to I don't have that bolt in my way trying to pull the whole thing out. I've already got the heat shield that's like probably going to be in the way. The other part of this Y pipe has fallen. I think that's what I'm having trouble. There's like weight on it now. Ooh. And there's the cat there. It's falling down right where the axle is. Oh yeah, right out. Nice. I'm gonna swap over O2 sensors. I'm gonna grab the 7/8 and swap over the oxygen sensors. Which these are both brand new because they did this trying to avoid replacing the cat, which is understandable. And here's the wire style gasket for the bank 1 up in the back of the engine. And they gave this flat gasket for connecting to the bendy part, the rest of the exhaust going under the car, flex pipe. And this is a ball and socket style for the front bank coming out of the front manifold. Okay, now this ring gasket, I thought it was going to be loose in there, so I was going to wait, but it actually does press in to this outer diameter pretty well, so I'm confident it'll stay just like that. And it does include hardware, so I'm gonna try it with the bolt in, with the one bolt in that you're supposed to hang it from as designed, right? We'll see if we can get it up in there with that bolt on. And the heat shield, it did pretty much stay in place, so that's cool. This, don't do this to me. Oh, come on. Oh, So close. That was close. I thought the starter was gonna be in the way. And where are we at up there? Where are we at? Oh, in the eye, that's where we're at. It's hard to point out, but I did manage to get it hung up there. Right there. Wasn't too difficult. And this should go right around there. Yeah, right. Let's see if I can get those bolts started. Well, it's not perfect, but I might be able to force it on. I have to push it over. Oh. Not long enough. This thing's not quite aligned perfectly. Okay, so here's my plan if it works. I've got this flange up there up top tightened pretty much all the way, and it looks like we are going to clear this wheel just barely. So now my next issue is finding long enough bolts to suck this up, because it also has to go forward just a hair. It's not quite centered. So I've got these bolts, digging through my bolt pile, and hopefully I can get it to suck up and it will still clear this wheel up here. Won't run into it. It is so close though. I've got the bolt started about the thickness of the nuts. Should be enough thread to start, you know, just giving her the beans. And I can push this way just a tiny bit, but I don't think I can push it anymore. I think that was it. Yeah, I can't do no more. That was it. So now it's all up to the bolts. We still got a fat gap over here. I'm just worried it's gonna start mushrooming this end of it. Okay, so it might be stupid, but it's working. I've got this pry bar wedged up against a bracket here, really heavy duty bracket. This 2x4 there, this ratchet strap wrapped around the frame. I could play the guitar on that shit. And yanking this that direction, allowing me to, with each little click, I'll come up here and tighten these bolts by finger just a little more. Let's see here. There we go. It's gonna snap. I don't know how strong these ratchet straps are, but I am pushing its limit. And now, look. Every time I do that, it gets a little better. Alright, so I got the ratchet strap with this pulled over and lined up. And these bolts are finger tight. So the bolts didn't do the work. The ratchet strap did all the work. So now I just need, and I feel like I've got, you know, the same gap all the way around. It's lined up. So now I just want to tighten these bolts, really put the beans on them, and then we can release the ratchet strap. And just little by little, try to do the other one. I don't know how I'm going to get to the other side. I don't know how to do either one on the other side. Oh, so much fun. Where did that pipe come from? It wasn't there a second ago. I don't know if think we can probably release it. Okay, that's pretty tight. As tight as I can get it. So now comes time to release the strap.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I mean I did what I intended to do. I don't know if it's gonna work. I just want to slip this gasket on here. And then we can, with a little twisting, because it doesn't line up perfectly, but a little twisting, there we go. Now we can tighten those up. All right, we've got those bolts tightened up there and the flange and back on the back header. I just got to put this exhaust heat shield on, which it's like already fallen into place. It's sitting on both studs already. We'll hook up this ground wire with the bolt that's remaining right around there somewhere. Put the nuts on the other two studs, and then we can finish assembling this side, throw the axle in. Put this one way down there. Sorry you guys can't see. Well, I can't even see. Yeah. And we'll tighten that up. One more here. Probably easier without the brake caliper in the way. Okay. Tighten all three of those up. Heat shield's tightened up. Slide the axle back in, I think, hopefully. Oh, nice. It's got a pretty serious main oil seal leak. It's dripping on the brand new Cat overnight. We'll take care of that another day, maybe. All right, I've got the knuckle with the new ball joint on. We're just gonna slide it on here and slide it on there and tuck it in there. Here we go. Come on. And up, down, in, out. There we go. There we go. Okay. Bushing link in here, or the sway bar link here. Okay. The pads back in. Put them back on the sides they came off of. Slide this brake bracket on. There's our alignment peg there. Alright, let's see if this tightens up or just spins. Hey, it tightened up. The speed wheel sensor, snap that back in its place here. There we go, like that. There we go. And last but not least is the axle nut. I had disconnected the battery because I was working right next to the starter there, so I didn't want to run a wrench into it on accident. Well, I got the catalytic converter Y pipe on. Everything's back together. It's on the ground. Moment of truth. Right about up. Very nice. And all it cost me was a pair of shoes and my phone stand somehow. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Gibson Garage Speed Shop. Let me know what you guys think. And what he needs to do now is just drive it around a whole bunch and make sure that no check engine light codes come on. But hopefully it should be good to go. And hang out for next time, because I finally have the parts in next Monday to finish the transmission on the Dakota. It's been sitting here a while. Broken part after broken part. Leave a comment below, a thumbs up, subscribe. Peace.